Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is PC. Long time no see. Sorry about that. Basically, been super busy. The guys been super busy, but the showstoppers are back. Sal, aka SNK Neo Geo Man, say hello.
Hello, YouTube.
All right, and we got Super High Tech Gamer, aka Jared, say hello.
Hey, what's up? What's up to all the hardcore gamers out there?
All right, and I just want to say, everybody that's been subbing to all three of us, man, I'd just like to say thank you and thank you for posting those comments on the videos, on our individual channels, and also on our group podcast. We're going to try and bring out the content, basically a little bit more frequent. But once again, our lives do get in the way, and the holiday seasons are right around the corner, so no promises on that. But I hope you guys enjoy the show. Basically, today is kind of no subject. We're just going to let it fly. Basically, we're going to do kind of like an after show type of conversation. And that's when I think we're at our best, when we're just, literally just talking shit. So we're going to start it off with SNK Neo Geo Man. Sal, basically, he was, prior to the podcast, he was explaining to me the results of the Tomo and SNK situation. So I'll kind of let him explain a little bit more about that.
All right, like I said, not too far off of the time when they said SNK had their press release regarding they're trying to stop Tomo from the cease and desist order, and then basically Tomo came back and told SNK to go fuck themselves by telling them like, no, we have a contract out on this. I believe it's actually till like 2016 they actually had, because evidently SNK had some pretty good faith in it, but just as like we were talking prior to the podcast, there maybe revenues aren't as much for SNK, that maybe Tomo might be reaping more of the benefits. There's a lot of controversy. What people don't understand, though, is once you have a binding contract, unless there's stipulations in that contract that, for some reason it's not up to a certain par or it's not doing a certain thing, then of course you can break the contract. But what SNK didn't do, though, is they didn't explain why they were stopping it. So that kind of makes them kind of like little bitches. And they should have said, okay, we're stopping it due to A, B, C, D, F, and G. Like a lot of people are saying, well, it's due to the system doing poorly. Really, from what I understand, the system is doing actually pretty good. True, it might not be, the biggest seller on the planet, but it's actually been doing quite well, considering a lot of flack and hate from big YouTubers and some websites. But still, people do enjoy having, kind of like an SNK product, and people don't realize that there is some sort of popularity with it. But I think SNK was a pussy by not saying why specifically they stopped or want them to cease and desist, and that's something they should have stated and given more credence to, saying, okay, we're stopping it due to this. And a lot of people might have backed them on it, but from what I understand, Tomo isn't backing down, and I don't blame them. A contract is still a contract, it's legally binding, and therefore, I hope Tomo tells them to shove it up their ass and keeps on producing more of those multi-packs and all, and still giving the people who are still supporting it, the great games and stuff like that that you're trying to pull out, and keep on updating the system to get it more up to par where it should be at this stage of the game.
Okay, well, I remember Jared. He was just saying something about bad business practices with SNK. Jared, can you elaborate on that a little more?
Jared there?
Jared, I don't know. Well,
What happened to Jared now?
I don't know, but it's all right. We'll probably join back in.
Well, the thing is that I can kind of think SNK is always known for bad business practices. It's just the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that they've been through, especially when they were the old SNK, that's why they went into bankruptcy. And people don't realize that SNK are their own worst enemy. They went through, especially during the early to mid-90s, they went through like at least about 5-6 management teams. And they've kind of screwed themselves over. That's why the whole bankruptcy thing happened. is because of their stupidity and their decisions. And it seems that their stupidity and decisions are still continuing into the new SNK or SNK Play More. And unfortunately, they just can never get the management right. They can do a lot of other things right, but as far as the management team and all, they must have switched to another management because, like, we haven't seen any new games come out or anything produced under their name, and since at least the PlayStation 2 era.
Yeah. With Maximum Impact.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that was the last time we really heard from them, because you can't even say King of Fighters 12 or 13, because 12 was by Ignition and 13 was put out by Atlas.
Yeah.
So the thing is that, they're not putting their hands on anything anymore. And, it's, I don't know what kind of approach you're trying to take, but no, honestly, they're not taking exactly, a very proactive approach to their software and stuff like that.
Now, I mean, both of us love, SNK, but, they do practice shitty business tactics, especially like, just for one example with the pocket color, back in the States when those first came out, around 2000, 1999, I remember going to the stores and seeing them, like, to the point where, they were barely in the mom and pop shops. Now, you had every other, video game system out. You could find everything pretty regularly, but those you cannot find for anything. And there was even a point to where they actually stopped putting them in the clamshell cases, nice manuals, inserts, and everything. They started putting them in just the Game Boy clamshell clear cases, like a 4-pack.
Like the blister packs.
Yeah, I just don't understand SNK when it comes to their business practices. It's like they have the IPs to make money, it's just like they don't know how to anymore.
Exactly. That's what I think the problem is. They don't really have the aggressive marketing campaigns that they used to. They don't have the drive or the energy that they used to. I mean, don't get me wrong and all. I understand they're a shadow of their former self when they actually had the Neo Geo in full bloom and things of that nature. But the problem, though, is that, people are forgetting about them. And like I said, the only thing they'll probably make them any profit off it is some fucking slot machines and shit. And the thing is, they should be making games and putting them out rather than having, just sitting around doing nothing, expecting the X to, fulfill the profits. It could be a profiting issue. Who knows? But I agree with you. It seems that, now the whole Neo Geo Pocket Color I could kind of see because they were in the middle of the bankruptcy. And then, of course, the Game Boy with the Pokemon. I understand they were too little, too late. If it would have came out probably a few years ago, it probably would have, did extremely well. But their timing is really off. They bring out these very revolutionary products at the wrong time, and therefore they get screwed and they wind up losing money. And that's what does them in. They just don't have timing for their stuff, and that has to do with a lot of management and marketing issues.
Yeah,
I apologize, guys. I've been having severe internet problems ever since my good brother had good intentions of changing my configuration of a lot of my stuff. But yeah, it seems like they just have bad luck, with their products, and I don't know why they're having such an issue with the Neo Geo X, Tomo, and SNK, and that's just one of those things. It's like they bring out something for the fans, and they don't really push it, or some kind of issue happens. But that's what happens a lot of times. So that's just the way it is.
It's just like I said, they don't do their research and they don't plan their marketing strategies properly.
Yes,
but a lot of people are dogging the X and all. My thing is that, all right, you want to dog the X, but that's fine. You want to do that and all. But my thing is that it's giving the people a chance to play these games and stuff. And of course, you can do it via emulation and all. But a lot of the people are dogging it don't own, the SIS doesn't own the AES or the MBS and all these different games and stuff like that. They barely even know what the hell this system is about. So unless you're really a true expert and all, I mean, a lot of people have not really touched the system and don't know. A lot of people really do like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say there's not faults with it, but the thing is that you judge for yourself and all, and stop listening to other people, because it always usually, to me, always goes into hype and all. So, and it's always controversy is always a great thing.
Yeah, and it's hard to get the original hardware. It's not easy, and it's expensive. So
yes,
at least it brings it out to a wider audience, and that's my period on that subject. It's like it brings it out to a wider audience, and it is accessible to people who want to play this game. And you can play it in a lot of different ways, as far as collections or emulation on your PC. But to be able to have something like that is unique, and that's going to pass. Once that thing's gone, you're going to go back to trying to find the original hardware and MVS stuff, and pretty soon that's all going to be gone. Sad to say, but that's going to be a lot rarer to find, and you're just going to be in that same boat of bidding on eBay for a lot of expensive hardware and software.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. The games have doubled literally within the past 2 years. When games you could find pretty affordably have doubled, and there's no way that you're going to tell somebody, buy a Neo Geo system for $200 and go ahead and run out and go get them these games. You have games like Magician Lord and all, which people couldn't wait to give away. Now are going for $50-$60, as we speak. So it goes to show that jumping into this stuff is really not as easy and accessible as people would think. So that's why the X is there, because it's just not as accessible. And take it from somebody who's been collecting for years. I mean, if you don't jump on it at a certain point, it's not happening.
Yeah. You know what? I want to kind of throw something out to you guys. What have you guys been playing lately? What are your kind of the games you've been rotating around? What have you guys been playing a lot of? Jose, start with you. What have you been playing when you have time?
As far as I go, I've been playing. Well, I just started Assassin's Creed 4 on Friday, so I've been playing that when I have time, and that's really good. The last one I played and really liked was Assassin's Creed 2, and so I'm playing that, and I'm actually playing Wii Fit U, which is basically kind of like an exercise program. And you know what? I've never tried out any type of Wii Fit. I went out and bought the balance board from GameStop for $16. And Nintendo's actually basically giving the game away for free right now. And so so I took it and then I tried it out, and that thing it works, man. If you want to lose weight or just get in shape, it's a great little program to do. It's free, and I've been playing that. And so I got my goals by the end of the month, especially with holidays coming up. You're going over people's houses and getting fat over the winter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I can keep that in check, because I do love to eat. So
we all do.
Yeah,
that's right, baby.
Yeah. Oh well, believe me, I know Scrooge McDuck likes to eat on gold plates and gold forks. Hold on. And just because you guys are new to this, Scrooge McDuck is basically Sal. Because in my mind, Sal is one of the richest guys that I personally know. It's just an inside joke, but yeah.
That kind of reminds me. That kind of leads into you're talking about Scrooge McDuck. Have you guys played that new DuckTales? They had the new
No, I haven't not played it yet. Mm-mm.
Oh, wow, yeah, I heard it's downloadable. I think it's downloadable content.
Yeah, it's downloadable content. It's I heard people. It's pretty good. In other words, pretty good, but it has somewhat a feel. But I mean, I heard it's kind of mixed. Some people really enjoy it, and some people are it's okay. I've been hearing mixed reviews on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's probably just one of those games where you got to try it for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, Sal, what about you, man? What you been playing?
Actually, eventually I'll show them in, I guess, a pickup video. But actually, I've been playing, which is stupid because I own it for the MPS. Actually, Garou. I've been playing that on the Dreamcast. I actually got the American version, which is the fucked up version of the game, because my version and all is the one where it has the sound issues. The disc is flawless. and I was playing it, and the game was fucking up. Like the sound, it would. It's not so much when they do the moves; they'd have like a 2-second delay. But like when they would do their win pose or say something, the music would continue, and it would cut to the cutscene showing what they were saying. It would just glitch up, and it was just terrible. I guess there were certain copies of the game that were terrible, but I got it for a pretty good price. Then I wound up getting the Japanese copy of the game that's actually made by SNK, whereas the American copy was made by H-Tech.
Yeah.
And the Japanese copy is actually pretty good. I'm not saying it's fantastic compared to the other ones, but for the time frame it came out, it's actually pretty good. So I've been playing that for the Dreamcast. I've been playing Stormwind. I have that for the Dreamcast.
Nice.
I got that one, and I was playing a little bit of. I got everybody's favorite shooter, Ikaruga.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, got that. And so I've been like kind of humping on them things for a bit, and that's kind of like what I've been getting into. And then a little bit of Bangai-O. Bangai-O is a little kind of strange to me, so I had to get it's one of those games that you have to kind of get used to because it's not one of those pick up and play type of games, but
yeah, no.
It's not bad. It's just weird.
Yeah, Sal, I never really got into Bangai-O. Now, I appreciate people playing it, but I just never got into it.
Yeah, I picked it up for a decent price and all kidding aside, the American version, but it was just, I thought it was going to be different. What I should have did is YouTube it first, but because I was thinking like, oh, okay, it's different. I like the anime aspect to it. I think that's really cool, but it's different. It's just, I'll just say that. And different is not necessarily bad. It's just different. And it's one of those games you got to get into and all, because it's not you're going to jump into right from the start. You have to get used to it and just the way it plays. Because I haven't played games like that. Or if I haven't played them in over 20 years. So that's the only aspect of that. So I can't say it's a bad game, but it's different. It's about all I can say.
So have you been enjoying that Dreamcast?
Oh, hell yeah. What I've been doing to actually, you know what's funny though? Maybe both of you can answer that. None of the VGA shit works with it. My TVs and stuff, none of that shit works. I actually had a VGA adapter thing, and I tried on that. It didn't work. Then I actually had cables for the VGA. It just does not work on my TV. It's not working at all.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it just does not work. It always says not supported or whatever the hell it is on the stuff, so it doesn't allow me to. So what I did is I actually got a Dreamcast SCART cable, used that adapter that I had that I was using for the Neo Geo, and connected it to that and upscaled it to 1080, and the games look like excellent, but I can't get the VGA shit to work. I tried everything. I think the guy who I got the cables off is sending me another bunch of cables to see if that's a problem, but I just can't get him to work on my TV. And both of them have VGA. Go ahead. What are you going to say, Garrett?
Okay. Do you have just a regular computer monitor, a VGA monitor around anywhere?
No. I actually don't have like that. It should probably work with that, but I want it on my TV. That's what I wanted. Because the VGA monitor, I never tried, but I'm going to guarantee it's probably going to work. But the ones that I have were supposed to connect to your TV, and none of them work. And I actually have the cables that go in the back of the Dreamcast that have the sound cables, sound ones, and the VGA port, and it just does not fucking work at all.
That's really odd, because I have like a generic VGA box for my Dreamcast, and so I can hook it up to my TV and put it in VGA, it'll display video at its highest. I think it's 480p, and then I can also put it on my computer monitor as well.
Yeah.
So I've never heard of any compatibility issues with.
Yeah, I've tried on 2 different TVs, and it's not. I don't know if it's maybe because the way the TV. I have no clue. Maybe it's maybe they're newer TVs, older TVs. I don't know.
Well, I know. When I had the Neo get modded, I had a Westinghouse. It was like a 24-inch LCD. I'll hook it up to that, and turn on the power, and everything will be gray. and then when I use my RCA downstairs, the one that our primary game on, that one will come out clear. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe just the TV brands, because some TV brands don't support some type of connections.
Maybe it could be. It could be. I think it's both TVs. I think it is because I'll tell you why. I put my laptop. I took my laptop and put the VGA cable to my laptop and put it to my TV, and the laptop to the TV was perfect. So I know it's not the port itself. It's probably something within, like you said, the scaling or whatever it is. It's not reading it properly. So I was like, oh, this sucks. I didn't spend a lot of money. I got refunded on the box that I got, so I got that refunded. And the cables, I didn't spend that much on. So, and I told the seller, and I think they're sending me out brand new ones to see if it is. If it's not, well, it's just one of them things. But I bought another scaler for just to have the Dreamcast separate from the Neo Geo, have them both connected to SCART, and then going from SCART to HDMI. So technically, I already solved the problem out because looking upscale to 1080 still looks really good. So I mean, like Garu and games like that look excellent in like that fake high definition type of look. So I can't really knock it. I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I mean, like you said, probably the TV or whatever just doesn't. It just doesn't do it, which I was shocked because I figured my Samsung would do it, and I figured the one that I had for the living room was like fucking 47 inches, like Scepter or whatever the fuck it's called. It's I figured for some brand like that it wouldn't work. I'd expect it, but shit happens. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's one thing you want that Dreamcast to be as in highest resolution as you can get it, because I mean basically it's gonna be arcade quality. You're gonna play the game just like if someone had a Naomi cabinet. You're gonna be playing the game just like that if you have if you have the capability, that high resolution capability. So the games are. I mean, there's a huge difference. I mean, it's huge.
Oh yeah.
It's like crazy how big of a difference.
When I initially put the scaler, on when I was using for the Neo Geo, back to Dreamcast, I put on what is it? What game is it? Dead or Alive 2. Because I got that, and I looked at it. I was like, the colors are just they're so bright and fucking vivid. I'm like, holy shit! Like you can see. I mean, the point is, it's not going to make the game like new gen or anything. But the point is, the colors on the models themselves are extremely bright and colorful and things of that nature. So, I mean, you can appreciate what it was going on back in like 99, 2000 when those games were, when they were hot. And the thing is that it's definitely, you can definitely see you need that scaler because otherwise it's just kind of like the Neo Geo. Like we fucking fucked around and said, how it looks in composites and things like how it looks like shit. Yeah. It's the same with Dreamcast. It will look like shit if you don't use an upgrade to the system because to me, it's actually like making fun of the system at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what's funny. I remember when I had a buddy. He imported the Dreamcast from Japan, probably about like 98 or something like that.
Yeah, 98.
And he had Capcom versus the first Capcom. Was it Marvel versus Capcom?
Okay.
But we're playing on his system, and he was just playing it in just regular composite. That game was like crap. It looked totally horrible, and I was just like, wow, dude, they must have rushed this. And I was like, I couldn't believe how bad it looked. I was just like, dude, this is supposed to be next generation. And then a little bit down the line, my brother had actually got the same game, same system, and he got that same game, but he was lucky enough, he had a Sony Wega TV, because my he's a technical guy, he knows more about that stuff than us did. So he hooked that in S-Video at the time, which was hot, and it was like a totally different game. I mean, totally different. It was like a totally different experience. It's like, oh wow, now I understand. It's like, and then we played Soul Calibur on his Wega, Sony Wega, and it was just like, dude, we're like in the Stone Age. It's like that machine was so ahead of its time. Even compared to what you had as a consumer, as far as your television, your audio. It's just like, and then the thing to be hooked up to the internet at the time, which was like, what's the internet? You know, you're like, oh, that's that information superhighway. This thing can actually go on that, and that was a big deal, dude. It's like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was great. So yeah, you got to have a good TV. You got to have good hookups for that thing to really enjoy it. And you basically got an arcade. You got the Naomi.
Absolutely. That's why, like, you know, that's why the scaler that I bought, they were like $50-something. I was like, I can live with that because you know what? To get the quality, to actually appreciate the sprites and everything like that, it's just worth it. I mean, you know, rather than I would love to have the system modded. Don't get me wrong, to have, without putting the fucking boot disc in and all that dumb shit that goes along with it. But the thing is, in all honesty, it's you know, you can really appreciate the Dreamcast for what it actually was. And the thing is that the games do look really good, like Ikaruga and things like that. Especially when you're going through certain stages and you're seeing like the background, like the cities and stuff like that, and the detail that was put in and all. It's just incredible. Like you can just see those little finite details and stuff, and you can appreciate, like I said, all the hard work the people, the designers, the artists put into it. So it's one of those things.
Well, you know what, guys? I do have a topic. I had a friend come over to my house recently, and he has all my collection and stuff like that. He was kind of like, kind of just blown away. He's like, man, I wish I had this stuff from, he's like, I wish I kept this stuff, a lot of this stuff from when I was a kid. And I remember somebody recently had sent me a message, through YouTube, just talking about collections, asking me some questions about it, and one of the questions was, where would I get started? And I told him, I said, whatever you like to get started on if you're trying to build a collection. But I was like, one of the main things you got to watch out for, and I got caught up in this when I first, because like before I started my channel, I was just watching you guys and stuff like that, and the big thing was trying to keep up with the Joneses, and what that means is try and if you're gonna collect something, collect. I think you should collect for what you want to collect for, or what you like, what you're gonna play, and all the other stuff. Just if it comes, it comes, but if it doesn't, don't get swept up in the hype. I just want to get you guys' opinion on that because. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever, watched a video and be like, man, I want to get it. You're not really realizing, or when you get it, it's like, all right, I got it, and it's kind of like whatever.
Wow.
I mean,
what I got to say about that? Let me step in on it, man.
I mean, I just bring that up, as
That's actually really good because that's actually a pretty good topic. Yeah, I heard that. Go ahead, Jared.
What I got to say about that is just you gotta collect what you really like, what you loved, or something that, to me, like you had a connection with in the past, or something that you always wanted to have, and you finally get it. Because basically, when you're a kid back in the day, it's like everything wasn't accessible. You weren't able to really purchase what you wanted to. You were limited. But as you become an adult, then it's like that one game that you always wanted back in the day, but you can never afford, or your parents can never buy it for you, or whatever. Now you go out and you get that game, and it means something to you. I mean, there are some guys. I mean, especially on YouTube, who have just their collections are awesome, and like, dude, I wish I had that kind of stuff. But it's like if it's meaningful for you, I think that's the ultimate collection. You're getting a game, something that you always wanted, and now you can finally afford it. You can finally get it, and that's the whole thing. Is if it means something to you. I mean, there's a lot of systems out there, and a lot of guys who have like great collections on like PC Engine, Mega Drive, X68000, all these other machines, which are awesome, but unless you have like a personal connection with them, it's like this actually means something to you. To me, that makes the collection that much more special than you're just going out buying a bunch of random games from random systems. It doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, that's my point of view on that. It's like, you really want to buy games that you really always wanted, at one point in time, and now you can actually get it, buy it, and you enjoy it, and that's the way it is for me. It might be different for a lot of different people, but yeah, like people think that I have a good collection. I think my collection is like average compared to all the other stuff that's out there. I mean, there are guys who have cabinets. Oh my god, that's awesome! To be able to play an arcade machine at your house, dude, that's like a fairy tale for me. I would love to have that. Have arcade cabs in my basement. Invite you guys over and be like, yeah, just get our game on. That's awesome. So it really is kind of like a different, it's what it really means to you. That's what I'm really trying to say. So.
Okay. What about you, Sal?
Well, I've been on YouTube watching, I would say, since maybe a couple of years now. And YouTube has what they call the YouTube gaming curse. The problem with the YouTube game curse is that, let's say, a lot of people grew up around, might have not owned, but around particular system. And like I said, some people have never owned. And then you have people on YouTube, they're showing these games on, I don't know, whatever this may be, Mega Drive, Super Nintendo. And, they got them through, thrifting or eBay, whatever it may be. The problem, though, is that it falls into that YouTube curse of that, when I come across something retro or something that I kind of sort of see I kind of like for the minute, people run out and buy that shit. So what happens is people might say, okay, I'll collect for the Genesis or whatever, the Mega Drive and all. And then they'll collect maybe certain games in their childhood. Then they'll see other games and they collect them. And then it just becomes a pattern of grabbing whatever they see. Not necessarily having, like what Jared said, like an emotional attachment to it, or like a nostalgia for it, but more of having kind of like, this collection, or basically, having something to show the YouTube community. Like, because I understand pickups, are a lot of people's channels, stuff like that, and I have no problem with them, that's your gig. But then people fall into that routine of going to, whether they're flea markets, thrift shops, car booths, whatever you want to call it, and just buying any old thing just to show it and not having an attachment. And after a while, people are spending, money on stuff that they just have for the shelf or padding, and it means nothing. So after a while, they're stuck with all this stuff, and it's meaningless to them, and eventually they have to try and get rid of it, and they wind up having to take a huge loss on a lot of it just to clear it out, because they become depressed or upset that they spent so much amount of time, money, and energy into things they really don't play or really have a care for, and it's it creates that YouTube like meltdown type of thing, and that's the only thing that's kind of fucked up about it. Like when I was going for the Neo Geo, now true, don't get me wrong, I mean, like I thought to myself, okay, what do I really want out of it? Because there was a point I was collecting like certain things I liked, or if it was a decent price, then I came to a grinding halt saying, oh, wait a minute now, what is my true focus of this? And then once you find your true focus, then you realize that the point is, okay, that's what I'm going to concentrate on. I'm not saying it's not going to be expensive, but you learn that once you reach that particular thing, it's a wrap. It's done with, and you move on. It's just like when I got the Dreamcast. In order for me to get the Dreamcast, I've gotten rid of, my PS3, and I've gotten rid of my 360 because I just was not playing them. I didn't want to have tons and tons of systems around that I'm not going to show any love to. And therefore, it's one of those things where you come to these conclusions that just play what you like and what you're interested in, and be careful of the YouTube curse of just seeing people holding up stuff and wanting to make videos or just wanting to be part of the crowd and all, because in the end, that's them and you have to be you, because what's going to do is that some people have actually made YouTube videos stating that they were in financial crises due to their spending habits. And I've seen this before.
Wow.
Yes, I've actually seen people who have actually made YouTube videos where they said they've spent whatever amount of money. And what happens is it threw them into like a depression state where they winded up saying, you know what, all the collection they had, they wound up selling at least 3/4 of it off, just to get rid of it, because it's like, kind of like a plague to them, and to just pay down their debts and stuff. And some have closed their channels, or not closed their channel, just stopped it, made like their last video saying, this is fucked up, don't do it, and I've learned my lesson and moved on and all. And, you have other people who just continue to buy, and, and their fucking house looks like a fucking show of hoarders. I mean, the thing is that to me, it's just, you have to go for truly what you really want, and understand and know your limits. Know your limits as far as your financial. Know your limits as far as space. Because the point is true, you can have the money for it, but where the fuck are you going to put this shit? Are you going to sleep on top of these machines? Are you going to fucking, make a bed out of cartridges? I mean, seriously, like, you have to use your fucking head and realize, just buy only what you want. You're not here to try to be popular or anything. Do what you enjoy, and you're going to be happier for it.
Yeah, no. Just listening to what you said there, Sal. For me, I mean, as far as being on YouTube and stuff, for me, it's just about being a gamer. There's collectors and there are gamers. I mean, like, if you want to just buy games just because they're some type of financial investment, I mean, that's a whole other thing. But
Absolutely.
You buy games because you love them and you enjoy them.
Absolutely.
That's my level. That's where I want to be at.
Oh, I agree 100% with you.
I mean, like, all this other stuff is crazy to me.
I agree.
The game is it's going to bring you some type of financial gain. There's some games that do.
But you know what the problem though is that, you know what it is? It's like it's just like the hype. In other words, YouTube is a big hype market. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily done on purpose, but the thing is, the problem is you do fall into a hype for a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you do fall into that hype and things of that nature. But I agree with you. Like, I'm a gamer and a collector. Like, you've seen games I've bought that are not exactly cheap. And I'll be the first one, they're not. But I don't throw the fucker on the shelf. I open that fucker up. I'll look through the manual. I will pop that fucker into the system, and I will play it. Because that's what I bought it for. I'm not there to just have it sit on the shelf and be like, it's like my house is not meant to be a fucking museum. It's for me to enjoy these things. Don't get me wrong, I'm proud of it. Okay, I bought this, but by the same token, I want to play these games. What good does it do me just sitting on the shelf? Plus, there's no guarantee that, you buy these, that the thing is they're going to be, 10 years down the road, you're going to make some huge fucking, investment in it. It's just not going to happen. The market fluctuates. True, there are games that kind of hold their value and have gone up, like Neo Geo and a lot of Genesis, especially Super Nintendo is going up. But by the same token, the people who do that's like the type of people where, like me personally, I'm sorry, but I can't respect that. To me, unless it's like a sword or something like that, where you can't just run out and fucking play with it with somebody and fucking chop their head. But like, even people with certain antiques, I can see. But when it comes to that, if you're just putting it in just a box, just saying fuck it and just leaving it up there, I can't see it. Just like having a comic book you just put away without even reading it. I mean, I don't see the point of it. I really don't.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you have, like, how guys have, like, classic cars, classic, it's like, they're like, they call them trailer lanes, they keep them around, but they keep them, but, cars are meant to be driven, even collector cars, even classic.
Yeah, they still drive them, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, so that's kind of what, it can kind of fall in that same category. But my thing is just collect what you enjoy, collect what you like, and it has a genuine connection because you're going to enjoy it much more than just having a bunch of, just random stuff.
Right.
I think most people do that. I think that most people do that.
Okay. Well, how about this? Since you guys are putting it like this, I also have a question for you guys too, and I'd like the listeners to think about this also. And this goes in two parts, and I'll explain. How much is too much, right? How much are you willing to pay for those prices? And on the flip side of, yes, we are making these videos and we are really, enjoying what we're doing as as a hobby. But on the backside, these games, and once again, I've got a message from this in my comments, that you know, the guy, he was looking at my collection, like my pickup video, whatever like that, and as I was going through the games, he was on eBay trying to buy these games that he's never heard of, and then so basically we are driving the price up of these games, not intentionally, but we are as YouTubers. Now, now, our channels are not that big at all, but those other channels that are pretty big that are doing these constant pickups, like, what do they think that that's what happened? That's what's happening. They're driving up these prices, maybe intentionally or maybe not. But that's the flip side of this whole YouTube coin.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to get you guys' opinions on that.
What I'll say about that PC is, the thing is, the whole YouTube phenomenon is something that's new for me, and I didn't realize that people had that type of hunger for some of these old retro games. Because basically, when I was, I had actually was in a mode where I was selling a lot of retro games for very cheap. And that's something I don't never told you guys. I've sold many good retro games on eBay for very cheap because I wasn't hip actually to how much of these games were worth. I just thought they were just old relics, but I didn't realize how much some of these games were. So when I kind of got my education, seeing, oh wow, this game's actually worth a lot of money, or this game's worth a lot of money, I started to hang on to stuff. I was like, whoa, I'm being careless here. I didn't realize that there was a market for these games. So the way I put it is just, it's wow, it's a new phenomenon for me. It's something that's very new, and I'm kind of glad in a way that people appreciate these games, and some of these, especially some of these retro games. But in a way, I'm kind of sad because there's some retro games I wish people could play and really enjoy them the way I enjoyed them back in the day. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword in ways.
Mm-hmm. My old take was very similar to Chad. Like, in other words, is that I would say kind of YouTube, I would have to admit to some extent, was a driving force in me collecting back for the Neo Geo. In other words, is way before I started making videos and stuff. It was a driving force because I look at the games, I'm like, man, I haven't touched the system in God knows how long, in like maybe a decade or so. And the fact of the matter is, I've seen these games, I'm like, wow, man, I don't play this system. This is the system that I got to, I spent, like, I got rid of all my, Super Nintendo, everything I had at the time in order to get this system. And the fact of the matter is that I wasn't playing it. So I'm watching the videos and stuff like that, or the playthroughs, and watching people's collections definitely was a driving force. I'll admit that. The problem though is that I think it comes to is that when people put this stuff on eBay, instead of being like really rare, it's just sought after. But I think the problem though is that people are willing to pay anything for these games and systems and stuff, which to me is what's amazing, because I can put a game on eBay for, I don't know, fucking Super Mario Brothers 3 for $1,000. And if the people want that game so much, they'll pay it. The thing is that depending upon the game, like the Earthbound phenomenon, in other words, is the game is not rare, it's far from it. In actuality, nobody even gave a shit about Earthbound years and years ago. Nobody was talking about Earthbound back in the day. But the thing is the whole phenomenon, but that's your perfect phenomenon. The game just fucking, made a resurgence. It's fucking, and people are selling it like box only like $500 or whatever the hell it is. And the fact of the matter though is that it's because people hyped it up. People put on, let's say, okay, what they did is they kind of like cast some lines out there and see if they cast some lines out there, who's going to actually be baited and pull through with that. And that's kind of like the whole thing, is that's what people start doing. Like I noticed within the last 2.5 years that I've been collecting, I've noticed games like go from, triple in some cases, where you could kind of get them, like I'm going to say the most reasonable price, but I mean, if you put out a little bit of money for them, you can get. Now they're just at ridiculous points. That like it's very hard for somebody just to jump into, buying these. That's why people are big into the thrift stores and the flea markets and all that other goofy shit and all, which I don't really have that around that much around me. And the thing is that that's how they get a lot of these deals, because when eBay and even the people who are doing thrifts, flea markets are kind of getting a little bit of hip to the retro scene and are kind of like fleecing the people. Now, like I agree with you, Jared, is that it's great that we've had a retro boom. I think it's outstanding, and the retro boom is due to this current gen nonsense and stuff. And I really do like that. But the problem is that having this retro boom, like you said, it's these prices that were, like, say, maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, were like people couldn't even give them away. Are now, like 50, 60, some of them over $100 and all. Whereas these people literally, like Earthbound, maybe a few years ago, you get it probably for like $30, if you want it. Maybe boxing complete. It's just
now my thing about with Earthbound, I remember I was working at a software store back in the day. It was like when I was like really in my early years, late teens, and I remember no one gave a shit about Earthbound, man. No one cared about that game at all. I mean, it was like it was in a big old box. It was labeled, it had Nintendo and everything. It was all labeled, but no one cared about it because the game was like, I think at that time it was like $100. It came in a big box. No one cared, dude. No one cared. And now it's like all of a sudden there's a resurgence because now people are understanding. It's like, the particulars of the game. It's an RPG, but at that time it was like a game no one cared about. Now it's like at a ridiculous price. It's kind of like a lot of things are like that. It's like Musha for the Mega Drive, for the Genesis. A game I bought, me and my brother played. We bought for probably about $29 back in the day, and it was a run-of-the-mill vertical shooter for the Genesis. Now it commands a high price. I don't know why. Hype? What? But it's just this type of games that maybe someone really had a passion for, and they hype it up, and now the prices to the point where you can't find the game. It's way overpriced. That's just the name of the game.
Absolutely. Think about I hate to dog it, but like the TurboGrafx 16, I heard a lot of the games and all are really hyped. I had the TG16. I'm sorry, it was a piece of shit, a straight up piece of shit. I don't give a fuck what people say. I had it at launch. I had a good majority of the games, or I played them. They were shit. Now the PC Engine is complete opposite. There was a lot of support for it. A lot of great games that never made it here. But the TG16 and stuff that people are, I had this TG. No, it was bullshit from fucking beginning. There was nothing good about it. I mean, they did have a few good games here and there, like every console does. But the majority of the games sucked. I literally just left, went over a friend's house, played it over there. I said, I'll be back for it. Never fucking looked back. I literally just gave it away.
What's funny about that story, you guys, is I remember the editorial from Electronic Gaming Monthly at that time. It's like, what should you get? Should you get the TurboGrafx or the Genesis? And they laid it out. They had a good argument. They said, you know what? If the PC Engine, if the TurboGrafx had all the games that were available in the Japanese market and were over here, it would definitely be better than the Genesis. But comparing the games that came out for the U.S. market, Western market, the Genesis is a better machine because a lot of games stayed in Japan. A lot of awesome games stayed in Japan. They never got converted for the U.S. North American market. So that was their argument. They said, you know what? It would be a better machine if all the games that were available in Japan were available here. But because they're not, the Genesis is better. Why? Because we had Ghouls and Ghosts, we had Golden Axe, we had a lot of arcade boards. While in here, they just did not bring out a lot of those key games that would have definitely, because they had more games than the Mega Drive and the Genesis. They had so much support in Japan, but here it was a different story. Why? That's something that's debated, but that's the way it came to be.
because like when I think one time I think it was Jose posed a question like, regret ever having a system. Like, okay, I didn't buy the system because I was a kid at the time, because it came out like what, 89, I believe, the TG16. But like, as far as having a system that's, like, if you can go back in time and be like, no, I don't want that. That would be the system. I would be like, no, it would have been money best spent somewhere the hell else. That's the way I view the system. I still view it that way. And the way people are, I'm just like, I'm totally dazed and confused of what people are seeing that I'm not seeing, because I've been with it. It did not last that long, and it was just out. And it's not one of those underrated systems, like an underrated gem like the Dreamcast. It's not one of those type of systems that was just overshadowed, due to hire, a better company and the newer, fancier technology. No, it had literally nothing, and it was the controller ports were bad. You don't want to get 2 players; you have to have an adapter thing, and then technically it wasn't really 16-bit; it was really 8-bit because it was
Keith Courage on the Alpha Zone as a pack-in. I said, so yeah, Keith Courage and Alpha Zone as a pack-in. That's a shitty game. That's a shitty game.
I had Keith Courage. That was the pack-in game. It was shit.
Compare that to Mario. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on.
Keith Courage and Alpha Zone, which was actually a different name in Japan. But I had that. Now the thing is, my brother brought home a TurboGrafx 16 one day, and I was just like, wow. And we had a game. We had what was it called? Legendary Axe.
I know Legendary Axe.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, I don't want to completely diss that machine, because it did have a couple. It had a couple really good solid ports like R-Type. It had a lot of good, games like Vigilante, and it had a good. Yeah, it had a lot of good.
Bloody Wolf.
Games. Yeah, Bloody Wolf, exactly.
Splatterhouse too.
Yeah, Splatterhouse. Oh, great one. Yeah, made by Namco. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, and I mean, it was. I mean, in hindsight, we had it and then we kind of lost it. And then I actually had a Turbo Duo at one time that a buddy of mine just flat out gave me. And I was just like, I mean, he gave it.
That's the way the TurboGrafx is. You give it away.
Yeah, he's like, just get this thing off my hands, dude. And I remember I had it, dude. I had it, and I had a bunch of games. I had Super CD-ROM games like, man, there was a couple good shooters.
Man, did you ever have Rondo of Blood?
I wish I did, PC. Man, I wish. Maybe if I had games like that, I would have held on to it. But I had like Lords of Thunder. I had a couple. I actually do have a couple of Super CD-ROM games in my man cave. But yeah, it's like I wish I would have had the dual though, because one thing that you do have to say about the PC Engine / TurboGrafx 16, they were the first ones that really introduced CD-ROM capability to the market, and it was something that was very new. I mean, it was very new. You had CD audio, soundtracks, a lot of ROM capacity, so you had big long RPGs and stuff like that. Like Ys 1, Books 1 and 2, those games were awesome back in the day. I was really jealous of those games, but it was just expensive for that CD-ROM unit, and it's kind of like a mixed bag for me. I'm not going to completely diss that machine, but definitely it was much more of a hit in Japan than it was in North America.
Oh, I'll diss it all damn I will fucking diss that thing, because I will not diss the like I said, the PC Engine. The PC Engine handled business, but fuck TurboGrafx 16. Take my word. That was a regrettable fucking purchase. I mean, I would almost fucking apologize to my fucking parent for actually buying that, because it was just bullshit to me. I mean, I bought it because of the hype and seeing Bloody Wolf and Vigilante and Pong. Like I said, there were some good games in Legendary Axe. Yeah, there were there. But in reality, I had Dragon Spirit or whatever the fuck for, Blazing Lasers, Devil's Crush. I had those games. And they were cute and all that type of stuff, but it was still not enough to warrant keeping the system around. It still wasn't. That's why I just had to go.
Now, speaking of hype, right? Speaking of hype, going back to those moments where you kind of get lost in YouTube. Now, I've been sub to a guy named Future Matt 5.
I heard of him.
Yeah,
Yep.
Future Man 5. He does a lot of great videos. He's from the UK. He does a lot of great shooting game videos. Shmups, and
Yeah.
a lot of. He's a big PC Engine guy, big Sega Saturn guy. Now, when I first actually got introduced to his channel, I really didn't know too much about the PC Engine. I know, it had Rondo of Blood on there, and some other games, so like Star Soldier and stuff like that. And through his channel, I mean, watching it, his videos every day, going through them, I started to get really, interested in the PC Engine, and I found myself a couple weeks later after, really getting hyped up after his videos, scan lines and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That I was on eBay, and in my eBay cart was like $900 worth of PC Engine stuff. You see what I'm saying? And I almost pulled the fucking trigger. You see what I'm saying? So I had to kind of pause and take that stuff out. That's my only retro system that has eluded me that I really want. And eventually one day I will get one, but at a more reasonable price. But at that moment in time of getting caught up in that hype, I almost overspent greatly.
Oh yeah.
Because that was like a PC Engine box with 2 games for like $700.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that shit was crazy. So luckily I did not pull that trigger because my wife would have fucked me up. And
set your ass on fire.
And so so I just don't want you guys, listeners, and just someone who's starting off collecting, just harping back on this. Do not get caught up in this hype because because that shit will take you over. It's like a fucking addiction. It's like an addiction.
One thing I'll say about that, I mean, like, that's why I enjoy other people's collections, I allow, like, there's a lot of guys who are into the PC Engine, the TurboGrafx 16, and I just like to enjoy their stuff, they got the collections, and there's some games, believe me, I mean, I'm not trying to diss that machine at all, because there's some games I was totally jealous of back in the day, like Dungeon Explorer, and there's so many games. Like their R-Type was really great. In our region, they had R-Type complete, so you could play all the R-Types on TurboGrafx, and it was awesome. So it's not a complete diss to that machine. Oh man, I mean, so what I do is, but there are people out there who really enjoyed that machine. They had it back in the day, so I just watch their stuff. I let them be the torchbearers of that machine, that particular console, because I mean, like I said, my exposure to it was pretty limited, and I was a Sega fanboy, so I just kind of let that be my thing. But yeah, I mean, it's a good system. I mean, if you do want a collection for it, that's great, and if you do have that type of the resources to buy it, it's cool to watch that kind of stuff. So but I understand what you're saying, PC, as far as like, you get caught up in the system.
Yeah, that shit like sweeps over you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, I want this. This looks cool. But you gotta kind of step back and say, this is something I can really enjoy. And that's why I kind of gotta say, check out emulation sometimes. Check out and see if these are games that you really want to play. Check out and see if this is something that you really want. And then if it is, and if you're really passionate about it, go ahead and buy the hardware. Buy the games. But, that's the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. I mean, me personally, I have a new rule that if I'm going for a retro system or even a current gen system, there has to be 5 games on that platform that I can buy within the next couple months of release or at the time. If it doesn't have 5 games to me that I'm definitely going to play, throughout the week, it's not a great purchase.
Yeah,
it's not a wise purchase.
Yeah, I mean, think about me. Like, I used to have a Sega CD, Mega CD back in the day. But, in all God's honesty, there were only probably about 5 or 6 games that are actually really good on that machine.
Yep.
But those 5 or 6 games that were good, I really remembered and were worth it for me. And they're not even worth that much money, But I have them, and they're like a treasure for me. I can play them, albeit I don't have my Mega CD did break down. I can't use it, but I can use it through emulation, and that's cool, But it doesn't mean I'm going to go out and spend a whole bunch of money on a bunch of useless games because there really wasn't that many
and definitely I would recommend what you told me, Sal, and Jared. If you guys are interested in the Neo Geo stuff, definitely check out Ken. He was a previous guest on our podcast. Once again, I used to own an AES. I actually sold my AES and my games. I'm going to go for the cheaper, more affordable method of the MVS or CMVS. To try and get the games that I want because it was just a hill trying to climb. I wanted Metal Slug 3, and that's not going for no less than about $500. And that's one of the games I do want to actually have a physical copy of. So the MVS is definitely the way to go. So that's what I recommend.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I can't knock anybody going for that because it's the best way I think to really have Neo Geo. Now, true, don't get me wrong. Prices for certain games might be a little steep, but they're still in that affordable range, and it's the same thing you're playing in the arcade. So, there's no GIMP version. So that's one thing I got to admit about having MBS stuff. It's the real deal. It's good stuff.
Okay. We're going to move on, I guess, to our last topic. This one, I just want to get you guys' opinion on it. We have the holidays coming up, so there's going to be a lot of shopping. We got 2 next-gen systems out. We have one next-gen system already out with the Wii U. How do you guys feel about the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4? Just give your personal thoughts about it. How's it looking? How's it shaping up? How the launch games looking? If you guys don't know what they are. A lot of sports games, a lot of shooting games, and I mean first-person shooters, and a lot of indie games. So we'll just go around. You both can say your piece about both systems, how you guys feel about them, and if you're planning on picking them up in the future. And then I will give my thoughts on the Xbox One. And I actually had a chance over the weekend to do a GameStop PlayStation 4 early release demo, where basically they brought up the system and we played a couple games on it. So I'll give you guys my impressions of that. So we'll start it off with Sal.
Alright, as far as the Spybox One, the whole Xbox.
True.
If you sit down watching me fucking, whatever, eat fucking, knowing what I eat, and the fucking FBI will come in and fucking, raid my house for it. The thing is that, as far as the Xbox One, I have no compassion or care for Microsoft in general, due to initially their policies and the I don't give a fuck about you attitude. Now, to me, true, they've changed a lot of their attitudes, but it's still there. In other words, the fact that they were trying to push a lot of useless peripherals, such as the fucking Kinect. Like, who gives a fuck about Kinect? I don't know anybody who gave a shit about Kinect. And trying to push more, DLC, DRM, and trying to basically abolish physical copies of games. So, to me, even if it has the most perfect games on it, to me, fuck Xbox One. Now, PS4, as far as I've watched a couple ones, because I watched a show on TV, it's called, Electric Playground. I think it was actually on not too long. It's like an hour long, but it's split into 2.5-hour shows. And they show, I was looking at, Assassin's Creed 4 for it. I was selling Call of Duty, stuff like that, and watching some of the games that are coming out. So I actually am keeping up with what's going on in the current, the next-gen systems. Now, PS4, to be honest with you, the stuff that's going to be launching, to be honest, I have no fucking interest in. I have zero interest in what's coming out. Now, like I said, to be honest with you, I'm going to guarantee you 99.9% that I'm not going to get any, next-gen consoles. I just feel that the games and the way they're progressing are just not what I want. It's just a continuation of what we have at this current gen. So to me, it's just going to be a little bit better looking, of course. And depending upon the games, some of them are struggling to run them in 1080p and stuff like that. So, and which is kind of ridiculous at this stage of the game because you'd imagine, we should be past the high def issue. especially with the next gen. But I mean, even though I like PlayStation brand to some extent, there's just nothing out there that would warrant me to purchase it. Maybe in a year and a half from now, maybe if they come out with, let's say, a pretty good amount of games that I think are really worth it. You know, like Capcom eventually gets their fucking act together. SNK maybe makes something. I don't know the fuck what. But if they actually start producing like certain things that I really enjoy that are kind of like throwbacks and rather trying to be bro shooters and the stupid dumb shit they usually come out with, then yeah, then I'll check it out. But I always give it a year and a half to decide whether to purchase really any system, because to me, I don't want to fall into the hype. I don't need to have another system because, believe me, I have plenty to play. So the way I kind of look at it is just even with the Wii U, even though technically it's I don't know if you consider it next gen or current gen. I really don't know. I mean, because it kind of close, even though it's a competitor to the two. The thing is that it's just like with that. And notice I gotta wait and see. It's the wait and see game. I would actually rather buy a Nintendo system than buy the other two. I would sooner buy, like, if somebody put a gun to my head, you had to choose, I'd probably go for the Wii U before I would go for the other ones, because the other ones, it just is not going to be really dedicated towards gamers. Be more dedicated towards media and all sorts of dumb shit that they plan on putting on for it that I really have zero interest in. So I'm still looking at the Wii U as far as that's concerned, but as far as maybe the Xbox, I have no interest. But the PS4, I'll just do the wait and see game like I'm doing with the Wii U. Just the wait and see, year and a half, see what happens, and then I'll take it from there, because then they'll be able to show me what they can really do within a year and a half. But at launch now, they're not launching with anything that's spectacular or that's so groundbreaking or revolutionary, in my opinion.
Okay, nice. Thanks to have your thoughts on that. We can go with Jared. What do you think, man?
One thing I would say is Capcom and Strider. That's the only thing that's kind of got me interested in the next gen platforms. Capcom announced they're going to make a new version of Strider, which is like my all-time arcade favorite game. So see how that turns out. If they can kind of woo me with some old school goodness wrapped up in some high res and some glory like that, I might give it a shot. But as far as I'm kind of like Sal too, I'm trying to be tight with my money. So unless there's something that's really overwhelming in the next gen, I don't think I'm going to be spending my money, because basically, I mean, I can play my Xbox 360, and I have HD games. I mean, I don't see anything that's really grabbing my attention. They do have a new Metal Gear coming out called Ground Zeroes that I've seen. That looks kind of tantalizing, but it's the same thing. It's graphics. I want to see something that's really going to suck me in. I'm an old school gamer, so I want to kind of see where that's leading. There's a new game made by what's his name, Inafune, the Mighty Number 9. Have you guys been checking that out?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, old school Mega Man.
And ish, yep.
Yeah, so that looks exciting. Whatever that comes out for. So yeah, other than that, kind of on the fence about the next gen. I've got plenty of games. I don't really need to jump on a new bandwagon with new game system. So that's where I stand on it.
Okay. All right. My stand on it is that I am a owner of a Wii U. I am enjoying that system. There are a lot of things that Nintendo can improve on, especially with the iOS of the system, and the operating system, the OS, and a lot of the big games for that system, I guess, are rolling out now. I currently own about 7 games for the system, and some downloadable ones too. But the Xbox One, I really don't have any interest in that. I already kind of told you guys my feelings on that. With the whole DMR thing, DMR thing, then they reneged, and I'm not with that, because they can change that at any time they want. And the games on there. The only thing I will play on Xbox will be Halo. I'm a big fan of Halo, so um, that's the only thing that I'll be interested in. But I'll probably maybe get the system around $200. Um, and I will never hook up my Kinect, just like Sal said. They're not looking in my house for shit. Um, and and the whole PS4, I guess this would be a good time to tell you guys this little story. Friday, I went into GameStop to go pick up that Wii Fit U balance board, and there was a Sony rep there, and GameStop was actually moving around their shelves trying to get everything ready for the whole launch in a couple like 2 weeks from now, on November 15th for the PlayStation 4. And a Sony rep was setting up the PlayStation kiosk, and he happened to put in the PlayStation 4 and workable controller, a couple demos, a couple games. They was letting people check out. So I waited in line. It was like 2 or 3 people ahead of me, and I waited and I got to play it. So I seen the actual OS of that system. It looked pretty cool, looked pretty slick. Pretty I guess Sony, pretty Sony. And tried out some games, seen some videos on there, seen the Assassin's Creed 4, which once again I'm playing that right now for the Wii U. It doesn't look that much better on the PlayStation 4. Now it does have stuff like fidelity and natural shadowing, but the game plays the same way. It looks just as good on the Wii U as it does on the PlayStation 4. So I will consider the Wii U a next gen system. I just think that the developers, as far as third party goes, really doesn't put any effort in towards the Wii U. It's only it's always like Nintendo that has to show out their hardware. So the controller felt pretty comfortable. I did not like the touchpad on the controller. It just was kind of weird to me to have that on there, and I didn't like the start and select button. They weren't there. I think it was the options, the home button, and the share button. And the triggers were comfortable though for like a shooting game, and the analog sticks are pretty comfortable too. So overall, it was a comfortable controller. It was just that touchpad was kind of wonky. And one of the games I played was Knack. I guess it's brought up by the same studio that put out Ico, I want to say, or it was the Japanese studio of Sony, which was kind of odd. That game, Knack, it kind of looks like a Pixar movie, and it really didn't play that well. It didn't. I was really not impressed by that game. It seemed pretty weird. Like it was. It didn't look that good to me. It looked like something that can be ran right now on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. And what else did I play? I played the NBA 2K for that. That looked okay, but I'm not really into sports, so that was irrelevant. And I actually got to play Killzone Shadowfall. That was one of the games I was interested in, but it was kind of more of the same. If you play Killzone 3, you play this one. So just with a better controller now. And
So that's basically like what I've been saying and Jared's been saying all along. Basically, it's the same thing, just maybe a bit prettier or a bit touched up.
Yeah. So like with the size of the system is about the same size of a 250 gigabyte shiny Xbox 360. One of the newer models. It's about that size. It looks pretty cool, the system wise, and everything. And that's really all I can say about it. I will get one because a lot of my friends want to play MGO Metal Gear Online, and I'm a big fan. Jared knows I'm a big fan of Metal Gear, so I will get one the day Metal Gear comes out. That's when I'll get one. And besides that, I can wait. Just like Jared and just like Sal, I can wait. So that's just my thought.
These machines are a lot of money. It's one thing. I mean, I don't know how much your socioeconomic background for you guys out there, but these machines cost a lot of money. For the average dude to be able to afford one, that's another topic of discussion. I mean, these things aren't cheap. Over what? $300? What's your entry point?
400, I think is.
Yeah, 400.
PS. Where did Xbox One? Do they still have it going for $500?
Yeah. That's the only version you can get. They're not separating the Kinect and the Xbox. It's only one thing. $500 out the door. No games. And actually, hold on, Sal and Jared. I didn't know this until a couple days ago. Did you know that the Xbox One controller still takes AA batteries?
No.
Are you serious?
That's fucking crazy.
Still using that shit?
Yo, there's still batteries in that bitch. You have to. I mean, you can buy one of those rechargeable packs, but no, you have to literally like. There's still AA batteries in that motherfucker. It is 2013.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is I have so much trouble. Like I can't, like literally, like on my 360 I have hooked up to my TV. I cannot use wireless at all. I have to my controllers have to be plugged in because I have so much trouble with wireless. I don't know what it might be my location, but yeah, it's such a pain in the ass.
No, Jared. Let me just let me tell you the best part of that whole controller thing. Okay, Microsoft spent $100 million on that on the R&D for that controller,
Wow.
and that shit still has batteries in it. I mean, somebody took that money and pocketed that shit.
Yep.
Still have battery. That would have been the first thing I would have put on the chalkboard. Hey, we need to get these fucking batteries about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy to me. But, once again, I'm not trying to influence, anyone. If you want to go buy that, you want to spend your money on that, that's you. You're your own person. Me, I'm gonna wait. I have the Wii U, and I'm happy with that. And I'm gonna be getting the PlayStation 4 when Metal Gear comes out.
But that's great that you actually got a chance to have a hands-on with the PS4. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. He was there, trying to, I guess, hype up the system. And he actually showed off the camera function also. There's a camera you can buy for it, kind of like the Kinect, but not really. You can actually go buy the camera and buy the controller right now, actually, at a store. And but overall, it was I guess it was a good package. But I was reading some articles on it saying that the systems were overheating in kiosks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they might be rushed. Maybe they were supposed to come out next year, but since Nintendo released theirs now, they don't want to get
unless the kiosks, or that the glass or the plastic don't have them and aren't well enough ventilated where the system can't breathe either.
Yeah, that's true. That's one thing about these new systems because they're like PCs basically. So they need a lot of cooling. That was the problem. That was the problem with the Xbox. If it's not cooled properly, it's going to overheat. It's going to malfunction.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's going to be a big issue. And anything with this amount of CPU power is going to have to be cooled.
Yeah.
So
well,
hopefully that's not going to be an issue.
Well, I just recommend anyone who's picking up one, pick it up with a warranty. Anything over $200 is a warranty.
Yep. I agree with that.
That's the rule.
I agree.
That's the rule.
I can live with that. I agree with what you're saying though. But it's cool though that you actually had. So when you speak your piece, at least you can say, "Hey," if somebody comes like on the podcast saying, "Oh," family, like, "Hey, listen, I've actually tried. This is what it is." But that's pretty cool. So see what happens. But in all reality, in the back of my mind, and kind of like it's still like playing in my heart. I hope Nintendo kind of like turns around and does some fucking karate chop these fuckers, because it's a shame, because otherwise it's just going to fall to the wayside as soon as these systems launch. Because even though we're in kind of like every economy has its ups and downs regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that people are going to around buy these things, and when it's still that overshadowed. So I hopefully Nintendo does what they have to do, and will be in business type of thing.
Well, if someone was to come to me and ask me about the Wii U, because a lot of people really haven't played it, what I would say, it kind of reminds me of the Super Nintendo. I mean, like year one of the Super Nintendo, it was pretty dry.
Yeah,
and
it
then
was.
you know,
You're
and
right.
then as the years started going by, that's when the games started coming out, and
Yeah.
that's what I feel like right now. You know, Nintendo released some of their games. Like they have a real big one coming out this month on the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario 3D Land, no 3D World, and
Mm-hmm.
that looks like really good. That looks better than anything on PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 in my opinion. And
You know what I gotta say? I enjoyed the Super Mario Brothers that they have out right now. What's it called? PCL.
Super Mario Brothers U.
Oh, I love that game. It
Yeah.
was excellent to me. To me, it pulled out all the stops. I mean, like when I played it, my brother has it, and we were able to play it, and it's HD. It looked beautiful. It's 2D, so it really appealed to me in my generation. And even my little niece, she was having a ball because she was able to play, and it's like there's 4 players, so it's multiplayer, and it was excellent. It was everything that I loved about it. It just had that feeling of I felt the same way like you talked about. You just brought up Super Nintendo. I felt the same way I played the same way that I felt when I first played Super Mario World on the Super NES. I thought it was great, man. It just really worked. So if they could keep that up, I don't think the Wii U is going to have any problem with this generation.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like the top seller, but um, that's because I think a lot of people got scared of the whole DMR thing from Xbox and they kind of jumped on board on the Sony train. So I think the Sony is gonna sell the most, but I think the Wii U may come in second because I know a lot of people is not gonna mess with the Xbox One just because of that whole fiasco. But I think next year will be the year for Nintendo. They have Mario Kart, which I'm a big fan of. Hell, the world is a big fan of Mario Kart. They have
Yes.
Super Smash Brothers, the new one, which I mean sells more than almost any game besides Call of Duty, and Grand Theft Auto. And
Yeah.
they have other hardcore type of games like Bayonetta 2. I believe they have this game called X, which is an RPG game that looks amazing. And Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So they have some really good stuff down the pipeline. It's just a matter of marketing. Hopefully they'll be able to market it right.
I agree with that. I hope they really do because it's like I said, the only current gen system I have is the 3DS, and and it's a Nintendo system. So I'm kind of like I said, even though I'm sitting in the background, I hope Nintendo pulls it off because if Nintendo can start pulling out these things, then I'm gonna grab that system. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's right. Jared, early in the podcast, you asked what have I been playing? Ever since Pokemon Y come out, bro, that shit is like crack. I mean, when the kids in whack for sleep, I'm downstairs under my fucking covers on my couch playing fucking Pokemon, bro. Like, like I was fucking 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? When I was playing Pokemon Red and Blue. Oh my god, man, that shit was bringing back so many good memories, man. So,
That's
if
great.
if anybody's listening on the podcast who plays Pokemon, and you guys want to trade Pokemon or battle, come at me. I will fucking wreck you. I will fucking wreck you. I don't play with that shit, man. I will wreck you. No lie.
Yeah,
Pikachu will run through your whole squad.
Man, he's playing some Pokemon.
Yo,
Oh
I'm
my
a
God.
grown ass
This
man.
motherfucker's gonna be 28
28,
years old
28,
Wednesday.
yep, 28 on Wednesday, playing Pokemon like a motherfucking champ.
Right? Hey, that's nice.
I know, dude. I ain't gonna hate. It is what it is, dude. It's all you. It's all you.
Yeah. So, but that's just it is what it is, man. I see gaming. It keeps me out of trouble. It's a good hobby. My wife knows where I'm at night.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, and my wife, she's a gamer too, and we enjoy it. Like actually, right now after the podcast, I'm about to go downstairs, eat some food, and we're gonna play some Assassin's Creed 4. So that's about it. So we're gonna come to the end of the show right now. We're gonna give our last final thoughts or shout outs, anything like that, and we're gonna wrap it up. So we'll start off with Jared, man. Speak your piece.
man, I just appreciate everyone who listens. I know there's a few people who leave comments. Please leave those comments. Please support us. You know, if you want to come on, please, PM me or PC or Sal. Let us know you're interested. Let us know if you want to, shoot the, talk about games, man. That's what we're all about. It's so much fun. I know you guys have a lot to contribute to. So, anyone out there who's interested, please let us know. Come on, man. It's all about having fun, and it's all about talking about games, man. It's for us. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys want to contribute. So that's what I wanted to say.
Cool. All right, Sal, last words, man.
Basically, it's a shame that it took us a while because of, our daily lives and all that type of stuff. But I have to reiterate what Jared was saying. Like, look, come on, have a good time with us. It's open to everybody, regardless whether you have a channel or you don't. It's not the point. Is that we just like hearing people's opinions, just having a, grand old time type of thing. And, a lot of times you learn stuff out of these podcasts and all. And, it's good because it's just a good, big little chunk out of your day to just, bullshit and whatever. And, and my thing is that can keep supporting us. We're going to try and keep doing this as, it's basically to the wheels fall off, it seems. So, and that's it.
Yeah. I was just going to say, thank you guys once again for sticking with us. It's been a time gap from the last one, but I hope you guys are enjoying the content. And I just want to say a special shout out to Jericho Sanchez. Sal has gotten to know him a little bit. This guy has been basically watching the podcast since day one. He actually lives in Japan, and I have a kind of a little relationship with him. To the fact where he'll tell me what's going on in Japan, and it's a lot of funny shit. So hopefully he can actually make it on the podcast. It's just we have scheduling differences because he's actually one day ahead of us. So hopefully we'll be able to get him on. Hopefully next podcast I can try and get him on. But the shit that he has to say about Japan, the real Japan, not the Japan on the TV shows, but the shit that he sees every day. Like he thinks every Japanese woman is a whore. And he has a really funny story why. It has to, and it has to do with yes, and it has to.
That sounds like an interesting time.
Yeah, and it has to do with love hotels. So it's very funny. Hopefully, this guy will be able to get on the channel. So that's what.
Make sure he stays up.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to try and do. He's a great gamer. Just quick shout outs to. FX Dash, he was one of our previous guests. Lloyd, Retro Dreamer, and Ken 627, great guy. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Didn't mean to ramble there at the end, but just want to say shout outs. Thank you guys for the subs. Thank you guys for the comments, the posts, and this is PC, and we're signing off. Have a good night.
Take care.